Kelly and our guests your utmost attention. So brothers and sisters, Kelly Dyer.
Sisters and brothers, thank you for the opportunity to be here today to talk about the struggle facing the staff who work for the Saskatchewan Government and General Employees Union. SGU staff provide services to SGU members. We bargain collective agreements, advocate for members in the workplace, administer SGU's long-term disability plan, and provide many other services for SGU members. We are unionized with CEP, the Communications, Energy, and Papers Workers Union. On November 6, 2007, the Saskatchewan Government and General Employees Union locked out its workers. Why did SGU resort to this anti-worker, anti-union tactic? Because the members of CEP Local 481 refused to accept the concessions demanded by the employer. We have been trying to bargain a collective agreement with SGU for 2.5 years. SGU leaders want us to accept a 0.1% and 2% wage package, an increase lower than the rate of inflation, even though most SGU members and SGU's out-of-scope managers receive a 10% wage increase, plus bonuses during the same period. They also want to erode our sick leave and pension benefits. They have already unilaterally eliminated the indexing to our pension plan, so our retired union members are suffering too. We stand here today in solidarity with our union sisters and brothers to say that this kind of concession bargaining is not acceptable, not to us and not to the union movement as a whole. You are here at this conference to explore ways of building equity through solidarity. You are talking about the fact that workers' rights are human rights. We ask you then to stand up and speak out against the actions of SU leaders. There is no equity in what they are offering us. There is no equity in their refusal to bargain a fair collective agreement. And there is no equity in their decision to lock out workers who refuse to accept takeaways and concessions at the bargaining table. In a landmark decision earlier this year, the Supreme Court of Canada ruled that collective bargaining rights of workers are protected under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The court also said that collective bargaining promotes and enhances fundamental charter values, values of dignity, equality, and democracy. When an employer attempts to dictate rather than negotiate a collective agreement, as SGU is doing, they are not respecting their workers' fundamental rights. They are not supporting the values of dignity, equality, and democracy. What does this dispute mean for you as trade unionists? There is no doubt that the actions of SGU leaders will affect all union workers in the future. SGU is setting a new, regressive, and destructive pattern for labor relations in this province. SGU has given employers a green light to demand concessions at the bargaining table and then lock out their workers if they refuse to give in. One thing is certain. Employers are watching this dispute. If SGU practices concession bargaining and locks out its own staff, other employers can justify doing the same to workers across this province. We ask you to help get labor relations back on track in Saskatchewan. Call, email, write SGU leaders. Tell them to start acting like a trade union and stop acting like a bad boss. CEP Local 481 members want to go back to work. We want to support and advocate for and provide services to SGU members across the province. We want to be working side by side with our members to ensure that the privatization of public services does not happen and that there is no attack on the public sector and its workers. But we will not go back to work until a handful of leaders who are making decisions in SGU agree to bargain a fair contract and to treat their own workers with dignity and respect. There's just too much at stake for our members and for all of you. An injury to one is an injury to all. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. I'm not sure if there's any questions from folks, but they've indicated that they're prepared to answer questions for a couple of minutes. And if you would like to maybe go to the microphone and address your question and identify who you are and what union you're from, we would really appreciate that. We'll take about 5 minutes worth of questions, and then we'll call it a day. So, go ahead.
I'm French of SGU, and I'm a original council member. All I'd like to tell this forum is that there's 2 sides to every story, and that there's a place to negotiate, and that's at the table. When you guys are ready to go back to the table, we're ready to negotiate.
Thank you. You want to respond to that, or?
Keep in mind that it was SG that locked us out, and we were waiting for a call from Bob Beeman. Anytime he's ready to go back to the table, we're there. We have yet to hear from him since November 6th.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? I have one going to the microphone.
Hi there, I'm Charlene Harstead. I'm an employee of CEP and a member of the Canadian Staff Union, and we were involved with our employer in our own job action this spring. And I just wanted to remind you that we're supporting you, we're behind you, and that we know you are going through, as do many other people who work for unions. Sometimes you have to treat your employer as an employer because they act properly.
I don't see anyone else approaching the microphone, so I'm going to close this, and I want to thank the members of CEP. Okay, one comment.
I thought we were going to speaker, so we're going to wait till after Adrian. Are you accepting donations, and can we pass the hat here?
Well, if you want to make a motion,
I'll move that we pass the hat.
we've got a motion to pass the hat. We've got a seconder down here. All those in favor of passing the hat for donations to the strikers and walkout workers, please show. Any opposed? It's carried, so somebody got a hat. I see one. I think we'll get Don Anderson maybe, or someone out, here we go. There's a little bucket going around, Dave Dean can help out those workers who are on the picket line. And I want to just inform folks as you're going out the door that the Federation of Labor, Executive Council, and me in particular are deploying every effort that we can to bring the parties to the table, to negotiate a successful collective agreement. I'm working very hard on your behalf to ensure that that happens. We're convinced that the way to get a settlement is to go to the bargaining table and negotiate a settlement, and we're encouraging both parties to do that. So on behalf of the labor movement, we're working very hard to make that happen. So